Just for you. It kind of gives us an idea of what, what we're going to be talking about and all. Okay.
Concluded that.
Good. Thank you very much. Okay.
Okay, here, take that, please.
All right.
These are extras.
Okay, these are just extra quizzes.
Yeah, and I just want to fold these so that you
I'll
have
set them down here.
Everybody is signed in.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And yes, that would be great. Thank you, Nancy. And everybody has finished their quiz? Everybody took their little quiz? And because that's going to be your personal quiz. Just hold on to it. We're going to go over that in a minute. Everybody did that? Who's not done? Raise your hand. See, I'm a good teacher, right? I learned from my daughter. Okay. Thank you so much for coming this evening. We really welcome you. My name is Mary Kolk, and I'm here with my husband, Dick. And what we'd like to share with you tonight is some of the things that we've learned in the last, 4 or 5 years about our weight control and about type 2 diabetes as well. First of all, what we'd like to get started with is that little quiz that we gave you. Kind of give us a jump start on that. And so go along with me, all right? And the first one is, again, this is just for you. How many grams of carbohydrates are there in one carb? 7 grams, B, 15, C, 24, or D, don't know. Anybody got an answer?
15.
B, 15. 15, right, thank you. Okay, which food, number 2, contains the least amount of carbohydrates? A, an orange, B, a baked potato, C, cheddar cheese, or D, a banana? Anybody?
Cheese.
Pardon me?
Cheese.
Cheese, C, absolutely. Absolutely, cheddar cheese. Number 3, what 2 items are vital to read on nutrition labels? So you got to circle 2 on that one. I'll give you a second to make sure you did 2. Okay. All right, so A, serving size, B, total fat, C, total carbohydrates, or D, calories. What are the 2 that are vital?
A and C. I put B and C.
A and C are right.
A and C.
A and C, the serving size and the total carbohydrates. And we're going to be getting into that as we go through the evening. Number 4, what is the glycemic index? A, an index of books on diabetes. B, a list of how quickly carbohydrates affect your blood sugar levels. C, low blood sugar. Or D, high blood sugar. B? B is right. A list of how quickly carbohydrates affect your blood sugar. And number 5, hypoglycemia is A, high blood sugar, B, low blood sugar, C, normal blood sugar, or D, a blood test. Who has an answer?
B.
B. Good. Oh, you're getting them good.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh, I don't know either exactly. Okay, B is low blood sugar. Number 6, a hemoglobin A1C test indicates A, your average blood sugar levels for the past 3 months. B, the level of oxygen in your blood. C, anemia. Or D, the red blood cell count. A, your average blood cell. That's right. That's an A. So you're keeping score for yourself, right? 7, diabetes affects A, every cell in your body. B, circulation. C, eyesight. Or D, all of the above. Sorry?
D.
D, all of the above. Thank you. Number 8, what is peripheral neuropathy? A, a fungus infection of the nail bed. B, burning, tingling, numbing sensation of your hands and or feet. C, hair loss. Or D, nerve therapy.
B.
B, that's right. It's a burning, tingling, numbing sensation. 9, 2 important things you can do to help control your type 2 diabetes are A, eat plenty of carbohydrates. B, limit your carbohydrates. C, exercise regularly. And D, try not to think about it. I like that one. Okay, what are the 2 important things?
B and C.
B and C, right, right. And our last one is the amount of carbohydrates you need every day are A, 7 to 10 carbs, B, 15 to 20 carbs, C, not important, or D is different for every individual? D. Hey, you guys are good. I'm going home. No, great. That's great. I love it. That kind of just gets you started a little bit, I think, and gets you to be thinking about what we're going to be talking about today at this seminar. Okay, you filled out your disclaimer forms, your registration forms, that kind of a thing, and we're going to be having a drawing for 2 very special gifts very soon. Let's kind of go over the agenda. Nancy, you gave everybody an agenda, I think?
I think I did.
Okay, we're just going to kind of want to go over that because when I'm at a seminar, I want to know what are they going to talk about. Okay, we're going to talk about Dick's story, our journey with type 2 diabetes. We're going to talk about how you're responsible, the carbohydrates, type 2 diabetes, meal planning, exercise, it's not a dirty word, roadblocks that prevent you from living a better life, setting goals, and recommended readings. Now, I will tell you that you can take notes, but you don't really have to, because at the end of the evening, I will give everyone a booklet that has just about everything I'm going to be talking about in it, so that, you know, what I would recommend, though, is if you like to take a piece of paper and maybe scribble out some questions as we go through. There's going to be a couple of points in the evening where we'll ask for questions and give you some answers if we have them. Okay? All right. What I'm going to share tonight with you is Dick's story and our journey back from type 2 diabetes and obesity. We were so fortunate to have found the answers, to have helped ourselves through what we felt was a dark tunnel and come out into this light of day. Actually, I will tell you, it's been like a miracle in our home, and it's been going on now for 3 years. So we think we'll keep it. We'll keep it around. We are speaking tonight in the hopes that it will help you to come out of the tunnel and into the light of wellness to live a better life. Give you a little background on Dick and I. We've been married 45 years. We have 5 children, 10 grandchildren, and our newest grandchild, another one is due, our 11th one is due in 5 weeks. And that's Bob, the funny looking guy behind the camera. That's his baby is going to be born in about 4 or 5 weeks from now. So we're very excited about that, and that's his first. So that's really cool. I own a multimedia company. Now, Bob and I are partners in a multimedia company, and we do CD-ROM authoring and design, we do website design, and we do video production, which is kind of nice. Dick is retired. He did work as a computer programmer at university hospitals until his retirement. When we were dating, and I've got notes here, so I'm going to keep referring to them so I don't miss anything for you, okay? When we were dating, he was always full of fun. He loved life, and he loved to laugh. He loved music and introduced me to classical music, which I never thought I would even go near. He loved, one of the things that I remember about him is when we were dating, he loved to whistle. We'd have the car radio going, and he would whistle right to the music. And I thought he did such a neat job of whistling. See, I was so impressed so easily. That's right. When we got married, I truly felt like the luckiest person in the world because he enjoyed working around the house. He helped me with chores. He helped me with the children. He even changed the diapers. I mean, he just never had a problem helping. About 25 years ago, Dick was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It was quite a shock. Once he got over it and got settled in, he took his medication like he was supposed to regularly and saw his doctor just like he was supposed to. He did everything he was supposed to do to make sure that he took good care of himself. What he didn't do is take responsibility for this disease. He didn't feel any different. He wasn't in any pain. So he thought all he had to do was just take his medication, and like a bad cold, it'll go away. I mean, it'll fix. You just keep taking your medication. That's what the doctors do. That's what a doctor is for, right? Even though the doctors told him that if he lost weight and exercised, he might just lose the diabetes as well. He thought he was doing himself real good when he would put sugar substitute on his cereal and in his coffee, but then he would devour my homemade bakery and my home-cooked meals. And I loved to cook for him. I mean, I just really enjoyed it. 25 years of diabetes really takes its toll. On Dick, the biggest problem that he had was neuropathy in both of his feet. As he describes it, it feels like your foot is asleep and that there are pins and needles in it all the time and it's just numb. It got worse and worse. Things got worse and worse. He would fall asleep, really literally at the drop of a hat. He became depressed. I can say this today. He was irritable, grouchy, and sometimes just downright nasty. His quick wit, ready smile, and fun just seemed to be drained right from him. Excuse me. And he never whistled anymore. One time he even fell asleep at the wheel and hit the concrete median on I-480. Dick was told a few years ago that his doctor could do nothing more for him. He sent him to the endocrinologist. His blood sugars were out of control. They were 175, 250, 300. Hemoglobin A1C test is what we talked about a little bit ago. Determines an average of your blood sugars over a 3-month period. The hemoglobin A1C needs to be at 7% or below. Dick's hemoglobin A1C was at 11. The endocrinologist said to him, "You need to go on insulin." This was a real blow to him. I mean, he really felt bad about that. She started him at 10 units per night, and he faithfully learned how to give himself the injections. We also went to see the nutritionist. She told us about the importance of carbohydrates for a diabetic, and for anyone for that matter. She explained how the starch in a carbohydrate turns into sugar in the body. I got to tell you, we were very surprised to learn that a baked potato is very bad for a diabetic. We thought it doesn't have any sugar, but we were very, very wrong. She told us about the nutrition labels on food and how many grams of carbohydrates equal 1 carb. She told us to watch the serving sizes. She asked him what did he do for a living, and because he had a sedentary job, she put him on 13 carbohydrates a day. The following year, things didn't get any better. His blood sugars continued to be helter-skelter. His insulin intake climbed to 43 units a night. The neuropathy was now so painful, I told the children I'd be pushing Dad around in a wheelchair in about 6 months. You see, this picture here of Dick was taken in 2002, I believe, and it was taken at Cedar Point. And that day, we actually had to get him a wheelchair because he just couldn't walk the midway. The neuropathy was just so bad. Whenever I would talk to Dick about losing weight and exercising, he would tell me I'm doing the best I can. And he was. He was listening to his doctor. He wasn't doing anything he wasn't supposed to be doing. As his condition got worse, he would get angry with me for even mentioning exercise. When I would tell him, let's go for a walk, he would give me an incredulous look and say to me, how can you tell me to go for a walk when you know I can't even walk 20 feet? We used to love to go shopping together. We just liked being together. With the neuropathy, he would go into a store with me. We'd walk down one aisle. He'd look at me. Mary, I got to go back to the car. I did a lot of shopping alone in those days. In the first 20 years of our marriage, Dick would spend Saturdays fixing, cleaning, and generally puttering around the house. After the diabetes grabbed a hold of him, the only thing he would do on a Saturday is sit on the couch with the clicker in his hand and watch TV all day. When I would ask him, what do you want to do today? He'd say he's already doing it. If I'd ask him if he was going to fix this or that, he became very defensive. He'd give me some off-the-wall excuse, and I would walk away very frustrated. I'd ask him if he'd like to take up a hobby, like do something. He used to love to build puzzles. So I'd ask him, want to build a puzzle? Nope, don't want to do a puzzle. Don't want to do a puzzle. Don't want to do anything. I'm doing it. I'm watching television. I like television. Don't bother me. I like television. How can you like that much television? When the children were coming over for the holidays, as you know, the children were all moved out by now, I would start to dread the holidays because I knew there's like 22 of us. We have 5 kids, 10 grandchildren, all the in-laws. So when they were coming over, it was a lot of work. And about 2 weeks before the holiday, yeah, everybody is shaking their head. These women know it's a lot of work. About 2 weeks before the holiday, I could feel myself getting really apprehensive. And I thought to myself, what's wrong with me? I love when the kids come over. I love the holidays. But I knew what was wrong. I had to do it all myself, every bit of it. Like, for example, I would ask Dick, okay, we need extra tables. Would you set up the extra tables? Would you get the tables set for me? He'd set up the tables. And the next thing I know, I'd look, he's back in the living room sitting down. Tables were there. There were no tablecloths. There were no dishes. Okay, Dick, could you put the dishes, could you put the tablecloths on the table? Could you, He'd get very angry with me. He'd get angry with me when I'd ask him to go downstairs and get something. I didn't understand, and I don't think he did either. Matter of fact, I know he didn't. How many of you here have either heard of or watched Dr. Phil and Oprah? Okay, great. I think they are fantastic people. They try to make people understand that they are responsible for what is happening in their lives. I taped the shows because I was always busy and I was working, and sometimes Dick and I would wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and the TV and the VCRs in our room, and we would watch Dr. Phil and Oprah. One day he announced to me, and I will never forget it, I can tell you chapter and verse where he was standing and everything. He said to me, Mary, and he looked like that first picture, I'm ready to take responsibility. I told him, I'm with you all the way, Dick. We determined, and I had been doing some research. I have to tell you, I've researched this thing to death, okay? We determined the number of carbs for him to eat. We set up a dietary plan, a daily exercise routine, and we set aside that time for exercise. And let me just add that the changes I had to make to my lifestyle, you got to know this. This morning at 7 o'clock, we were in the swimming pool at Seven Hills Rec Center, and sometimes that just amazes me because when Dick and I first got married 45 years ago, after about a week of me getting up with him, and I'm going to be, in the 60s, I'm going to make my husband breakfast and the whole thing. 1 week later, he said to me, Mary, could you do me a favor? And I said, yeah, what? I got my MRS degree. I was pretty happy. He said, could you just stay in bed in the morning? He said, and I'll make my own breakfast. You really are kind of grouchy in the morning. What a blow to a new bride. But he was right. I don't like mornings. I didn't like mornings. So I had to change. So you can teach an old dog new tricks. One of the most exciting things that I want to tell you about is that within 1 week of being on a controlled carb lifestyle, Dick's personality started to come back. I'm sorry. It was really unbelievable. Something I never expected would happen. I didn't know that all of this was due to how he was eating. Within 9 months, he lost 70 pounds. They seemed to just fall off. He felt better than he ever felt since he was 35 years old. His blood sugar readings that fluctuated between 175, 250, and 350 came into a more constant range of 90 to 100. His hemoglobin AC, which is, as I told you, was supposed to be at 7 or below, and his was at 11, was now coming in reading 6.8. Dick has not taken insulin in 2 years. He's walked in 2 5K races and finished. His doctor calls him her poster child for the diabetics. She says if she could get half of her diabetics to do what Dick is doing, she would be a very happy doctor. We've been doing this now for 3 years. Dick has kept the weight off. His blood sugars are controlled, and his doctor continues to lower his medications. One day, I have to tell you, while all this was going on, I heard a very strange sound coming from the living room. It was Dick whistling again. The change in Dick has had far-reaching effects on our entire family. Our children are happy to experience his fun-loving nature again, his softness and his kindness. They love to hear him laugh and see his unbelievable rise in energy and vitality. My grown children tell me that our 9th and 10th children know a totally different grandpa than the first 8 did. One day, about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago now, Dick told me that he was going to play the saxophone again. What? This is the man who wouldn't do puzzles. Now all of a sudden he's picking up the saxophone? I remember when he had the saxophone, he first showed it to me. He played in Benedictine's marching band, and we were married a couple of weeks, and he opened up this saxophone case, and I went, oh, yeah, 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 the mildew, boy. Closed it, I never saw a saxophone again. Took it up 3 years ago. There's a wonderful group, and I will just share this with you, 50 and over. It's called the New Horizons Band out of Baldwin Wallace College. They'll teach you how to play an instrument if you've never played. If you want to change instruments, anyway, Dick went on his own, got in with this band, and I tell you, it's been absolutely wonderful. The concerts are attended by all of the family. The joy of his taking responsibility for his health continues to grow every day. Now you've heard what I've got to tell you about this, and again, I just want to reiterate here that, if I haven't told you this, I am functioning today as a life coach. I don't know if you've heard about life coaches. These are the up-and-coming thing now, life coaches, where you take your experience, something that you know and you've researched, and you help others with it. I don't have a medical degree. I'm not a nutritionist. I went to a very short time to nursing school, which you can't even really count. So I really don't want to project that I am a doctor or anything like that. But I'm going to tell you what we've experienced, and perhaps you can grow from that as well. Now I would like to introduce Dick and let him tell you a little bit about, from his own words, about this. Okay? Dick?
Well, after all you heard about me, I don't even know if I should be up here because I was such a bad guy. But honestly, what has happened to me is just amazing for me, because I was able to just get a hold of my life and to do the right things and to take care of my health and to start to do things that I never thought I could do again. Mary mentioned just about everything. So there's not a whole lot I can tell you other than to say that the band experience that I had has been so wonderful. We've made trips out of town. We went to Toronto. We went to New York. We've done a whole bunch of things. And it's just so much fun to do stuff again after so many years of doing nothing. I just sit around the house. I couldn't take care of the projects that had to be done. Thank God I had 2 boys that would help me, because they would do it for me because I wasn't doing it. And I just said, well, take over, you do what you have to do, and I'll just sit back and watch and see what happens. But I feel so much better now. And every day, I thank God that I finally made that step and took control of my life. It was so important that I did that. And I've met so many wonderful people that at the gym, the people who come there, they have similar situations where they want to make sure that their health is good, so they go to the gym and they exercise. And we've been talking to a lot of them about what has happened to us, and it's just been wonderful. And by the way, Mary never mentioned this, but besides myself, I'm not the only one who had a renaissance, because Mary lost 40 pounds herself. And so it's not just me, it's her too, okay, that has really just taken control. And we feel so good about what's happened to both of us. And I think that's why we're here, is to share that with all of you. And So we hope that as this program goes on, that all of you will get something from it. That's our goal, and we hope that we achieve that. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Mary.
Thank you, dear.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to steal some of your water.
Did I say you could have that?
No, I didn't. Okay.
Okay, I'm here to tell you that I cannot help you. There's really nothing I can do for you. Nothing. I can and I will give you lots of information. I can and I will share with you what has happened to us in our lives, how we changed our lives for the better. But there's nothing I can do for you. There is, however, something you can do for you. You have the power to change your life. You and only you. Not me, not your doctor, not your wife, not your husband, not your friend. No one, only you. What I want to know is, are you ready to take responsibility for your health and well-being? Are you ready to make a decision to leave behind the burden of overweight and tired and pick up a new life, a life of energy and full of joy? What we want you to do is get ready for a life worth whistling about, a truly better life. Are you worth it? Do you deserve to feel good each day? Do you deserve a full life? Only you can answer that question. Because my answer is yes. You are a child of God. Whoever your God is, you are his or her child. He or she loves you very, very much and wants you to be happy. Why don't you want to be happy too? One of Dr. Phil McGraw's life laws are, one of my favorites are, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. You can't change what you don't acknowledge. If you don't acknowledge that you have a weight problem, if you don't acknowledge that you have the power to change your life, if you don't acknowledge the problem, then you cannot change it. It's as simple as that. Dick did not acknowledge his diabetes. He knew he had it, but he didn't acknowledge it for over 20 years. While you have the opportunity tonight to change your life, to live a better life, to wake up each morning literally happy to be alive and full of energy. And that's what I see in this man every morning, and that's why I get so excited about it. Or you can continue on the same path you're on now, tired, overweight, depressed, and lacking motivation for change. The information I'll give you tonight is your opportunity to turn your life around. You need to hear it. Not just listen to it. Hear it and act on it. Let's talk about carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are addictive. Do you think addiction is too strong of a term? Well, think back to the potato chip commercial a little while ago. Bet you can't eat just one, right? Everybody remembers it, right? Try it. You can't eat just one. I've tried it. Many nights I've tried it. Really, I've sat on the couch and ate those potato chips and drank that soda, and not diet, because I don't like diet soda. And there were times when I said to myself, what am I doing? I don't even want this stuff, and yet I'm eating it. I just can't seem to put it down. I was bitten by the carb monster. To fight this monster and cure your addiction is very, very simple. You need to have an awareness that that monster exists, that it's out to get you, and that you have the power to fight it off. Counting your carbs on a daily basis is one of the best weapons you have against the carb monster. What's really very interesting, though, is that the less carbs you eat, the less you want them. Right, Nance? You don't crave them anymore. Now, I have to tell you, I never thought I could order a steak without a baked potato. How many in here have steak and baked potato when they go out to eat and they have a steak? Nobody. Nobody has that. Well, I had it every time. I couldn't do it. Not only did I just want it, but I also got into the habit. Order a steak, order a baked potato. That was just the way I did it. I'm very proud to tell you for the last 2 years, I order steak and broccoli now, okay? I leave a restaurant very satisfied, never what I call bloated, saying, why did I have that ice cream on top of that, all that food? I have met the carb monster, and it's me. Carbohydrates produce energy in your body. You need them. We all need them. It gives us fuel, and it really helps us to think and all that. Type 2 diabetics need to control the amount of carbs they eat to keep their blood sugar at a consistent and normal level as possible. People who want to lose weight need to control their carbs because carbs are the main source for building fat. When you eat carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises. Did you know that when you put a piece of bread in your mouth or a baked potato, you don't have to swallow it? Just the saliva action starts the pancreas secreting the insulin right away. I read that. Anyway, when you eat the carbohydrates, your blood sugar rises, your pancreas secretes insulin to help your cells absorb the blood. Insulin is like a key. It unlocks the cells. And if I can show you this real quick here. I don't know if I can. No. Okay. This is your blood cells are here. Okay? And insulin, when it comes out, it is like a key that opens the cells. Okay, so now you've got it here. Insulin opens the cells, and the blood sugar is able to get in, and the cell can use it. Okay, what happens in insulin resistance, okay, is that you produce so much insulin that now it has shut down, and it won't let it get in. It won't let the insulin get in, and so therefore the cells can't use the blood sugar. So what happens is insulin tells the blood sugar, okay, we can't get in, so we need to be stored. And it always stores it as fat. And almost, from what I have read, it always stores it in the abdominal region. Also, the sugar in your blood attaches itself to every single cell. That's why you have so many problems with diabetes, because it affects every single cell in your body. Your blood that is supposed to be running very freely and all, okay, starts to just get thicker and thicker, and clots form and all that good stuff. And that's why you really need to control that. I'm going to read you. This is, where's my Dr. Bernstein? This is a book I recommend to you, and you're going to get this. I'll give you the recommended reading list in that booklet that I'm going to be giving you when you leave. This is Dr. Bernstein's Diabetes Solutions Revised and Updated. I'll give you a little background on Dr. Bernstein. Dr. Bernstein was an engineer. His wife was a doctor. He was an engineer. And he had type 1 diabetes. And he took an engineer's approach to diabetes. And so he tried to figure out all these things, and he had it for so many years. And he came upon the low-carb lifestyle kind of a thing. And the doctors wouldn't believe him. I was like, you're not a doctor. You don't know what the heck you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. So I think it was at 40 or 45 years old, he went back to school and became a doctor. Wow. That's a little more commitment than I want to make. Okay, let me just read you from his book about insulin and how it affects you. Insulin is a hormone produced by the beta cells of the pancreas. Insulin's major function is to regulate the level of glucose in the bloodstream, which it does primarily by facilitating the transport of blood glucose into most of the billions of cells that make up your body. The presence of insulin stimulates glucose transporters to move to the surface of the cells to facilitate glucose entry into the cells. Insulin also stimulates centers in the brain responsible for feeding behavior. Indeed, there is some insulin response even as one begins to eat, before glucose hits the bloodstream. Insulin also instructs fat cells to convert glucose and fatty acids from the blood into fat, which the fat cells then store until needed. Kind of what I was just kind of talking about. I just want to read one other thing real quickly for you. All obese individuals, and especially those with visceral obesity, are insulin resistant. The ones who eventually become diabetic are those who cannot make enough extra insulin to keep their blood sugars normal. Type 2 diabetes is often called the silent killer, and it is quite frequently discovered through one of its complications, such as hypertension, visual changes, or recurrent infection. Type 2 diabetes is, at the beginning, a less serious disease. Patients don't melt away into sugar water and die in a few months' time. However, type 2 diabetes can, through chronically illness but less dramatically elevated blood sugars, become more insidious. Because so many more people are affected, it probably causes more heart attacks, strokes, and amputations than the more serious type 1. Type 2 is a major cause of hypertension, heart disease, kidney failure, blindness, and erectile dysfunction. That these serious complications of type 2 diabetes can progress is no doubt because it is initially milder and is often left untreated or treated more poorly. And that is what happened to Dick. Even though he was going to the doctor, he was seeing a doctor, he was still not being treated properly. Good doctor, University Hospital, great doctor. Okay, let's take a minute about how you, anybody have any questions at this point? Take a minute and talk about how you count carbs. There are two things to remember when counting carbs. There are the grams of carbs, and there are carbs. When you look at a nutrition label, they'll indicate the grams of carbohydrates found in the serving for that particular food. It takes 15 grams of carbohydrates to create 1 carb. Excuse me. Let me repeat that. It takes 15 grams of carbohydrates to create 1 carb. Let me just give you, let's see, where's my little nutrition things here? Bear with me a moment. Okay, who ran off with my little nutrition things? Huh? No, I had them out. I had them in a folder. Let's see if I got them back here. Nope. Okay, I wanted to give you the nutrition sheets.
You have 2 folders.
Hmm?
You had 2 folders.
I know I did. Locked it. Here. Hang on. Just wanted to see if you guys were paying attention. Here we go. Okay. If you'll just kind of pass these around to each other and all. Okay? We'll kind of look at these. You know, it's a wonderful time that we live in because we have these nutrition labels, and they have to have it on there. They have to tell you what's in everything. Okay, so the 2 important items to read are the, number 1, the serving size, and number 2, the grams of carbs. And actually, it should say carbohydrates, but the grams of carbohydrates, okay? All right. When we look at these sheets, everybody's got a red pen? Here's some pens. Anybody need a red pen? I want you all to have a red pen. Red pen? Okay. I'll just give you a red pen. Okay, thank you. Okay, give you one more. Got one more. 2 more? Okay, coming right up. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let's take the longer one that we have here. Yeah, did you get the other? Did each one get both of them?
No.
Sorry, we need to give out 2. Okay, you got the short ones.
Oh, okay. I guess we didn't get that.
Did you guys, everybody get a long one and a short one is what you need.
Yeah.
A long one and a short one.
The long and short of it.
The long and short of it, right?
Thank you.
See how he helps me? Okay, now on the long one, okay, you see that the very first thing under nutrition facts is the serving size. The serving size is 1 cup. I'd like you to take that red pen and circle that, please. The long one? You don't have a long one? Do we have any more long?
Yeah, long ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nancy's hoarding them.
All right, Jim needs
I lost the short one. I'm okay.
All of the information on these sheets,
one.
don't take Nancy's. I'll break your face, you take Nancy's. All of the information on these sheets and on your nutrition labels, very important. You read the serving size first. That is so important because a lot of people will look and say, oh, it's only got 22 grams and I'll just eat the whole thing. And no, you can't do that. You have to know the serving size. The serving size is 1 cup on this particular, and by the way, this is Cheerios. Then you look down and you see the total carbohydrates. It's 22 grams. You need to measure out, you need to know the serving size. They always refer to them on these nutrition sheets as grams. Okay, you're always going to see them as grams, and we're going to kind of go over that. Look at the next one. That's more the squatty one. I don't remember what this is from. I think it's from. This is from Elbow Macaroni. Okay, again, go up to the serving size and circle it, please. And what is the serving size on this one? 2 ounces. So you circle that so we know exactly where to find this, and it will always be there. Whenever you look at any nutrition labels, you'll always see it there. Now go back down and look at the total carbohydrates and how many grams of carbohydrates are in here? 42 grams in 2 ounces. That's quite a bit. All right. What's very important also here is to know this little tiny formula. Again, this will be in the booklets that I will give you. 15 grams equal 1 carb. So if you're counting up your carbs and you're counting your grams and you 42, now what is 15 into 42?
It's almost 3.
Okay. Okay. So for 2 ounces of this particular food, it's almost 3 carbohydrates. Okay, how many carbohydrates does it take to lose weight or keep your blood sugars under control? The number of carbs that you need to consume in order to lose or gain weight or maintain your weight is very specific to every individual. You need to determine how many carbs you can consume in a day and still lose weight. Everybody is different. Your exercise program is different. And oh, by the way, I will say it again and again, you need to check with your doctor before you ever embark on anything, a lifestyle change, an exercise program, whatever it is, you've got to follow your doctor's advice. What I say is, take him what I'm telling you and tell him that this is what you'd like to do and see what he says, if this will work for you. Now, Dick can eat up to 6 carbs a day and lose weight. So 6 times 15 is how much? 90. Okay, thank you, Jim. 90 grams of carbs he can eat in a day, and he can still lose weight. I eat 3 or 4. Nancy, I think you eat 2 when you start.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
When I'm good.
Yeah, okay. Now, the way you do this is you set a certain amount of carbs for yourself. Like the nutrition set us up for 13. What we did is I said to Dick, look, we're going to go to 9. We're going to go to 8 or 9, okay, when we start this. And when we did, he started losing weight almost immediately. And that was great, okay? And so then we would lower it even a little bit more so that he would lose weight even faster, which is what happened. So what you do is you get a number. And you say, okay, I'm going to start at 10. You do that for 2 weeks. And you see, did I lose any weight? Did I gain weight? Did I maintain? And how are my blood sugars, if you're type 2 diabetic, how are my blood sugars doing right now? Are they lowering? Are they going up? So this is what you want to do. You want to figure out for yourself, okay, if at 10 I'm maintaining, I'm not losing or anything, drop it down maybe to 8 and see what happens for 2 weeks. See what happens. Okay, so this is how you determine for how active a lifestyle you have, how many carbs you should eat in a given day. So you'll know because, believe me, it'll show up right away. I want to show you a couple of examples of carbohydrates in food. Where's my little bag here? A little bag of tricks. Show you a couple of examples.
Do you
Okay.
distinguish between starchy carbs and fibrous carbs?
You mean the amount of fiber? Yeah, we'll talk about that. Net carbs as opposed to, yeah. We don't usually do that, Jim. We really don't. We just say if that's how many carbs, then that's how many carbs. It kind of helps us.
Distinguish between carbs that are from grain and carbs that are from vegetables?
No.
Is that a big deal?
No, we don't do that at all.
Okay.
Not at all. This is 2 ounces of San Giorgio spaghetti number 8. I'm going to just pass that around so you kind of see what 2 ounces of spaghetti is. There are 42 grams in that spaghetti.
Once it's cooked, what would this cook up to, do you think?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question,
Okay.
because I just brought along cooked, and Lord, nobody's going to eat this, but anyway, I'm going to show you what 2 ounces cooked is like. This is 2 ounces, okay? Good sized portion, absolutely. There's 3 carbs. I have a son, though, who can eat 10 times as much?
3 things anyway.
At least 3. Now, what you have to understand is now you've got 3 carbs here. You're going to add marinara sauce, which is going to add to it, especially if that marinara sauce has got some sugar in it. And tomatoes are pretty high, especially ketchup and any kind of marinara sauce. You're going to add meatballs, and again, depending on how those meatballs are made, that will add to it. But you can see that this kind of a serving, and now Dick, would this be all you would eat when I usually make?
No, absolutely not. I mean, I would fill the plate. It would be at least double that, and then I probably would have a second helper,
Yes.
because you make good spaghetti.
Yes, I do. You got that right, I tell you. I'm going to keep that man around, I tell you. You know, one day, speaking of what he was just saying, we just for the heck of it added up the carbs that we had been eating. I told you he eats about 6 or 7 a day. I eat maybe 4 or 5 now. We were eating somewhere between 40 and 60 a day.
Together, or?
No, individually. Individually. 40 to 60 carbs a day. Think of it. My best thing at night, I work hard all day long. I sit down at night. I fill up a little cereal bowl full of potato chips. I take a regular pop. You know how many carbs there are in just that little snack? There are 3 carbs in a can of pop. In a regular can of pop, 3 carbs. And in those chips, probably another 2, maybe 3. 5, 6 carbs.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Mary would drink at least 3 cans of soda every day.
Yes.
That's 9, right there, okay?
Now
So
I
if you
eat-
were- if you
now
were
I eat
trying to
6.
Diet, if you were trying to maintain at 9, drink 3 cans of pop, you're done, okay?
Speaking of
Today.
potato chips, my very favorite food. You like them too? Isn't it just the greatest? Yeah, it's.
It's hard not to. It's hard
Bet
not
you
to
can't
get
eat just
started.
one. This is Lay's potato chips, 1 ounce, 15 grams, and I'm going to pass that around so you kind of get a feel for what.
Yeah.
15 grams in 1 ounce. Here's also elbow macaroni. This is 2 ounces, San Giorgio, 42 grams. Just this 3 carbs. So you know what, when you look at this, the reason I brought this is because this tells you, when you start to think about what you've eaten today, you think to yourself, holy cow, you don't realize it. I'm going to pass that around for you too. Okay, question and answer period. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, Jean?
I had pasta today for supper, and I probably had that much. And I said to my son, every time we have pasta, I have to have bread and butter with it.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, oh, yeah. I didn't have time for that. Like, you always have, because I know you said you crave more carbs, and I have to always have that piece of bread. Well, it's in my head, but it did taste good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Italian bread with the pasta. I mean, I would probably eat, no lie. Whenever we had pasta, whenever we had spaghetti meatballs, make like the wonderful rolls, the Pepperidge Farm, or then I got really good at making the Italian bread and cutting it up and I made my own garlic butter. Oh man, that stuff was good. You put that stuff on there and 3, 4, 5 pieces of bread, that ain't hard to do, right?
While you're doing dishes, you finish the list.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, we were taught not to waste anything.
I tell you, there's nothing better.
Well,
Yes.
interestingly enough, one of the things that we found out about bread is that a slice of bread, one slice of white bread is 1 carb. It's 15 grams, sometimes 16, 17. But it's around a carb. So what I've done is I still eat bread, but I eat, generally I will get, what is that stuff called?
Oh,
Carb counting. It's from
yeah.
Brownberry makes.
Whole grain.
It's a whole grain bread, okay? And it has 9 grams of carbs. So it's like half of a regular slice of bread.
What's
Okay.
it taste like?
It tastes wonderful.
Yeah.
It's like
That's
it's
it.
like anything else. You acquire a taste for it. I don't miss white bread. I don't eat white bread anymore, and I don't miss not having it. What I would miss is not having any bread. But I have bread. 1 slice, not 2. Just 1. Because what I want is I want to taste it. I want to enjoy it. I don't want to deprive myself of having it, but I don't want to overdo it. That's the key.
And that's one of the, that's one of the 1 or 2 things that we get into. You know, when they talk about this low carb fad and all, believe me, don't be pulled in by the sugar-free and the fat-frees and all that other good stuff. The nutritionist told us the low-carb bread is great because what happens with low-carb bread is they slice it thinner. That's really all they do to it. They slice it thinner, okay? So it makes it a little bit better. And you're able to eat it. And you say, oh, I've had bread. But the nutritionist told us, this really blew my mind. She said, if you go into this if you go into the grocery store and you pick up the sugar-free cookies, she said, turn it over. Look at the carbohydrate count. It's exactly as the regular cookies are, sometimes even a little more. Because it may be sugar-free, but it's got flour and they got all kinds of stuff in there to make it more palatable, and so they just add the carbs. So they're not helping you at all. So don't eat sugar-free. It's not good for you, really. Bob, did you have a question?
One of the things I know, because I've gone through this, or I count my carbs as well, but one of the things I wanted you to talk about was orange juice. That was the one that was most startling for me, because you think
Thank
orange
you.
juice, healthy, big glass.
Oh, yes, and nothing better than a big glass of orange juice to start your morning, right? Wrong. Really bad. 4 ounces. 4 ounces of orange juice is 1 carb. 15 grams, 1 carb. I used to drink 12 ounces easily, right, Bob? Yeah, you too. You'd fill up a big glass when he was living at home, just down that orange juice. Holy cow. That's how he got to 50 and 60 carbs a day. I mean, that's what I'm telling you. If you think about what you ate today, yesterday, and you start counting the carbs, you go, whoa, whoa, I didn't know. I couldn't figure that out. So,
What I wanted to add too, real quick, was it is amazing how you get used to now getting a small glass. Instead of a big glass, fill up half a glass, fill up even a little less. You can still make it through, breakfast. You can finish all your eggs and your bacon and stuff, but you don't have to have the big glass, and it adds up quick. I mean, that's.
it really does.
Tropicana now has a light one, and granted, it's a bit sour, but I think it's only 9 grams for the small. If you can rely on the back.
Right.
I drink the sour orange juice.
Yeah, you got to be.
The size about that big.
Yeah, thank you. It can be, but you have, Nyla, you've got to check that label. Oh my God. When they told us about those sugar-free cookies, I was totally blown away. I mean, there is nothing that I won't pick up in a store. If you ever follow me around in the store, you'll see me grab something off the shelf and I'm looking, okay, what's those 2 things? What's the serving size? We were talking today about the serving size for Campbell's soup.
Yeah.
Tell them about the serving size for Campbell's soup,
Well,
just
the
as an
interesting thing
example.
about soup everybody knows that when you get a can of soup, that can of soup is for you. Okay, that is 1 serving. Look at it. It's 2 servings. So when they tell you how many carbohydrates is in a can of soup, you look at it and says, oh, there's only 23. Well, there isn't. There's 46 in that can. And so you don't realize it, but you're doubling the input because nobody eats a half a can of soup.
Yep.
You do.
I like soup.
Oh,
Okay.
I like soup, but I seldom eat it, and if
Mhm.
you wanna know why, an hour later I want something else.
Okay.
That's why I
interesting,
seldom eat it.
interesting.
Well, whatever the
I go out with
reason.
my girlfriends, they're all souping it up, and we get back, and they're hitting the snacks. Where if I eat my half a sandwich,
Mhm.
I'm good for 2 hours,
Yeah.
3 hours.
See, another the
Soup can be
value to
really
a half
high.
a sandwich is number one, you get to taste the sandwich,
That's right.
but you only have 1 carb of bread because you
Yep, that's what
put
I
your
do.
bread, you cut your bread in half. When I have a half a sandwich, I only get half a carb because I take 9-gram bread, cut it in half, and make half a sandwich, so I only have half
That's
a
another
half a
thing,
carb.
when you get a deli rye sandwich with all that,
Oh,
corned beef on it,
Oh,
9/10 of it goes in the refrigerator
Yeah.
for a later time.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Mhm.
That's right.
portions, everything.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, how many slices of bread do you eat a day?
1.
Just one, that's
One.
at breakfast
In the
time.
morning,
In the
yeah.
morning.
Sometimes for lunch, I will have another slice. It's rare. I don't eat that many sandwiches. I would say I probably average 1 a week.
Yeah.
So
What do you
I
have for
Sometime-
lunch then?
what do I have for lunch? I try to limit myself to, oh gosh.
Well, I've got some, actually, I've got, and you can help you, we've got some menus here that
Oh,
we're gonna be
but for
sharing.
one thing, I will make myself a hamburger. No bun,
Mhm.
just the meat, okay?
Okay.
I'll have that, and maybe some pickles, okay? Gotta watch, can't have too many, but I have some, okay?
Deal,
So-
you can have bread and butter, you can't. I mean, you gotta watch.
Yeah.
Bread and butter are
Yeah.
like 6, or you get 6 of them to a, I don't know, a carb or something like that.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
so you have to be careful, but
I've been doing this a while.
I try to limit lunch also, salad is a real good thing for lunch, because there's no carbs. If you make it right, or there's very few, depending upon.
And what we do
You
is
gotta
we'll
watch
put
like bread, if you put,
croutons.
croutons in it, now you're adding bread, so you gotta be careful. You can't put croutons in it necessarily, or if you do, just put 2 or 3. So you get the taste, but you don't gorge yourself with so
Right.
much.
Does it hold you long enough?
Oh, yeah.
Salad?
Oh,
Yes, because what happens is, as Mary said before, if you eat less carbs, you crave less carbs. So you don't crave the food
Yeah,
anymore.
you're not looking for
You
food.
get by without doing that, and that's, I think, what's key.
Mhm, I
Is
would
that as
agree.
you cut back, you suddenly realize you don't need them so much.
You don't crave them. It's an amazing thing. I
can
mean,
recall my old breakfast was, a bowl of Cheerios, 2 or 3 Oreo cookies, a big glass of milk. I mean, toast
Yeah.
up, all kind of stuff. And I would say, I'm okay, I'm taking my medicine, but I was gaining weight, and my blood sugars were out of control. And by cutting back on that and watching what I do, I got it under control.
makes all the difference in the
Makes
world.
all the difference. This morning, my blood sugar was 104. Okay? And it's typically in that range between 90 and 120. And the doctors have told me if you can maintain at 120 or less, you're doing good.
Oh, especially when you had, that one time you had a piece of pie or whatever it was over
Oh,
at Sharon's. It was,
My daughter invited me over, we were on vacation. She invited me to the cabin. Let's have pie and ice cream. So I did. And it was wonderful pie and wonderful ice cream. And I went back just for grins. I went back and I took my blood sugar right after I did that. My blood sugar was 373. And I said to myself, and I said to Mary out loud, I will never do that again. I cannot believe that my blood sugar was that high. But it was.
peak for 2 hours.
no, but that,
Okay,
his
but
did,
I mean, this
his
was
did.
right after. So what was it,
Right.
2 hours later?
What did it do later,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
He was so scared he wouldn't take it after that. It was like,
Oh, I mean,
whoa.
that was horrible.
He went to that thing and says, don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Rami, do you have a question?
Well, you were talking about salad. What about dressings for salad?
Very interesting. And again, what I'm going to be giving you is some of the menus, and they'll show you how many carbs and everything in it. I love ranch dressing. And again, you see, go to the store. Low carb, low carb, low carb. Bull's Tweety on that. I use Ken's ranch dressing, 2 tablespoons. Now, how much salad? I mean, 2 tablespoons is a lot of salad dressing, okay? 2 tablespoons has 2 grams, 2 grams. I can use that. That's not a carb. One of the things that the nutritionist told us is if you're eating anything 5 grams and under, count it as free. Don't even bother counting it. Now what we do, because we're really so cognizant of it, is that we count the grams now. So we make sure that we're it's a little bit better. So if I have 2, I don't count that, of course. But if I have something with 5, I start to count that. So salad dressing, we put on our salad lettuce, tomato, 2 kinds of cheeses, and sometimes I'll put in green and red peppers, cucumber, and salad dressing. What's wrong with that? And maybe we'll even eat like a hamburger besides.
What if you put, they have salads where they might have turkey or ham?
Oh yeah,
Protein?
absolutely. That's another thing, and that's one of the things I want to tell you too is about. Go to Sam's Club, and they have these slices of chicken, okay, that you put in the microwave for 3 minutes. Keeping busy is extremely important, especially at the beginning. Keep moving, keep busy. Don't sit, okay? But if you are sitting and watching television and all of a sudden you've got a taste for something, I would like to have something, I don't know what, you go throw some of those chicken strips in, you cut up some sharp cheddar cheese, okay, and maybe pour yourself a little wine, okay? You have a low carb, actually no carb, treat. Okay, and one of the things in the booklet also is the snacks that we have and how we, what we eat and that kind of thing. I tell you one thing that I really love though, and I try not to keep it in the house, is pound cake from Tops. Oh, they make a fine pound cake, and they have it all sliced up. Well, especially in the summer, and I take 1 slice of pound cake is 1 carb, 15 grams. So you take that 1 slice of pound cake, you throw on some fresh strawberries, no sugar please. I don't even use a sugar substitute. Dick still does, he should. But I don't even use a sugar substitute. And then I put a dollop of Cool Whip. Look on the Cool Whip. No, the regular Cool Whip. The regular Cool Whip has like 0 carbs. So you eat that and you have 1 carb. How good can that be? That's wonderful. You just had strawberry shortcake and you had 1 carb. It's great. So you just got to think about what it is you're doing. You got to take responsibility. You got to say, look, I'm in charge. You got to plan your meals, plan your snacks, that kind. And one of the things I'm going to do to help you is somebody's going to pick. You're going to pick, Nancy. We're going to give you away our first drawing, our first gift. Yes, Nyla?
I'd like to tell you, if you like vinegar, you can stretch your salad dressing by putting your allowed amount,
Mm-hmm.
and then put a little vinegar on it, if you like vinegar. And that allows you to have a little bigger salad and have the dressing taste.
There you go.
You have to like vinegar.
There you go. Okay, Nancy, you're going to pick our winner. Drum roll, please. You are the musician, aren't you? I picked the right person to do that. Okay, now I got to put on my specs. I hate being over 40. Way over 40. Dolly Gunderson. All right, Dolly. Let's see, what have we got for you? My very, very favorite book. I recommend this book to everyone who asks me about a controlled carb lifestyle. This is Barbara Krause's. I think I have mine here somewhere.
Is that on your list?
Yes. Barbara Krause's Calories and Carbohydrates. Okay, she has over 8,500 brands listed, and this is absolutely wonderful. Gives you the measurement, gives you the calories, which we don't pay any attention to. I want to make that really clear. We do not watch calories at all. I couldn't. You don't have to watch calories, but we do watch our carbs and we do watch our measurements. So congratulations. Thank you. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. No fat. You don't watch fat at all. Matter of fact, you eat as much fat as you really, really want. So it's just not a problem. It's the carbohydrates that are the problem. That's what really does it. Okay, we have a very special guest here this evening who in the last 6 months or so has become my very dear friend. We met at the Seven Hills Rec Center, and we have been working together for the last, 3 or 4 months. And I would like Nancy Haas to come up now and talk to you about her experiences. Nancy?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you Mary is my angel. I tell her that all the time because she really and truly helped me a lot. I was way out of control. I was watching carbs. Oh yeah, I was watching them, not knowing how to count them. Okay, so I told her, I says, I gained 7 pounds. We got talking about this and she says, well, tell me what you're eating. Email me. In fact, in the beginning, I would write down everything I ate and I brought it into her Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So then she said to me, do you have a computer? And I said, yeah. She said, how about emailing me? So every night, about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, if I can get on without the memory going nuts on me, I email Mary with my breakfast, my lunch. Sometimes I don't put my snack in, and she catches me. She does. Oh yeah, she does, because she knows that something's wrong there. But I've been trying to have like maybe 3, no more than 4 carbs a day. The 4 carbs is like keeping my weight maintained. I'm gonna try to work on that. The holidays did a job on me. I was there with Nyla at our Christmas party, and that really took a toll. I didn't even send her that because there wouldn't have been enough room on the computer to send her. Oh, that was bad. But no, really and truly, she's my angel, and I tell her that all the time. I'm so glad that I met her. She's helped me tremendously. She keeps me on track. In fact, now we have a train, and the train pulls into the station, and sometimes Nancy gets off the train, but she makes sure that I get right back on that train. And I slide off once in a while, just like on the sliding board, but I mean, on the whole, I've been doing pretty good, huh? My sugar count, that's how we got talking about this. My sugar, now, I know Jim, and I'm not on anything at this point. Trying to watch my sugar, and I take it 4 and 5 times a day, okay? Well, my sugar was like going up there. I realized that if I had, now my normal breakfast is a half a cup of oatmeal and a half a banana. You've got 2 carbs right there with the half stuff. She called me her half girl because a lot of times I'll say half a cup of beans, a half a cup of this. Well, that's for me. And years ago I joined Weight Watchers, so I got a little measuring cup in my little bowl, and that's what I've been measuring my food with. And it's working. I have to get back on it. This week I've been back. It's been like 96, 100, 150 now. For 2 weeks it's been like that. The one day I went off the track a little bit.
And how was your sugar before we started working together?
It was high. It was like 140, 180, 190. At one time I hit 200 and something. And that was my, I don't know, maybe that was the day that I told you that it went over 200. That was my wake-up call. And I thought, and then when she told me about how to count the carbs, I was having like 40 carbs, because, they're little. I tell Dick and Mary, a half a cup of pasta cooked, it's not worth boiling the water for. I'm sorry, but I mean, if I'm gonna eat something like that, it's like, for me, that's 1 forkful. So I don't bother to do it. So I mean, really, the carbs is what really count. And if you're watching your sugar, I come from a long line of my mother, my grandmother, all my aunts. My uncles were not diabetic, but all my aunts and uncles, my aunts were my grandmother. So it scares me. I don't have real good eyesight as it is. I don't want to lose my eyesight. So that's the reason why Mary has really helped me. So that's all I can see. I mean, she's covered everything. And,
Thank you. I appreciate that. And Nancy is the reason we're all here tonight. She said, you've got to tell people about this. You just got to tell them. So we are. So thank you, Nancy.
Well, she's got a calling, and I think she should carry it through because she really has helped me. She's helped others, really. And there's a couple of them at the gym that aren't here tonight that would have been here, but one is working, and I think you've helped both of them. So,
it's just something, and the reason that I feel so passionately about, of course, that's the reason I feel passionately about it. I cannot tell you the difference this has made in our lives. I cannot tell you. In the last 3 years, I feel like a newlywed. That's how wonderful it is. We have so much joy together. We go shopping together, we play together, we run around. I mean, when oh, I tell you.
Depends on what day of the week.
More information than
You got that right. For Christmas, we went, I was just telling my kids about this. We went to Great Northern and we went Christmas shopping together. We spent 6.5 hours walking around Great Northern. The man could not walk 20 feet.
That's right, I could never last more than 20 minutes. Never.
So you can see why I get really excited about this, and I understand that it is you that has to do this.
Our choice.
It is not me. I'm telling you the information. I can help you with this. I can give you personal coaching. I can do email like we do with Nancy, which is great. Okay, we love that. Nancy, and oh God, this woman writes the funniest daggone emails. But I want to get back here, and I want to tell you about planning your meals. Is there anybody who would share with us today what you had for breakfast, lunch, and dinner today? Anybody at all? Yes, Jim.
Started with, and I've just started a low carb diet 2 weeks ago.
Good.
Started with a half a cup of slow cook oatmeal and 16 ounces of soy milk.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch was 3 ounces of turkey breast, a wedge of cheese, and 2 very small apples that probably came out to about 30 grams. Dinner was the 2 ounces of pasta, 4 homemade meatballs that were low carb, and some sauce. And I'm trying to think what I drank with that. Oh, I had some more soy milk because I wanted more protein.
Okay, great. Now you are doing a great job. You are really
have
taking
to.
responsibility,
Yeah.
and that's wonderful. You know what I read? This was another one that blew me away. Somebody was telling me that they were eating, what did she tell me she had? Some kind of a cereal or a low-carb cereal. It wasn't Nancy, it was somebody else. And she said, and I'm using skim milk. And I was like, you're actually better off, listen to this, using heavy cream than you are skim milk. Go to the grocery store next time, take them down, and look. The carbs in skim milk are higher than in heavy cream. You actually, I mean, it's like, holy Toledo. I mean, just.
What about regular milk or 2%?
Oh, no, very high.
Really?
Very. You'd be better off to get yourself heavy cream.
Yeah, but who drinks that?
Well, or who doesn't drink it? It's up to you. It's what, you know. And the other thing we talk about here is planning your meals in advance. How many people here plan their meals in advance? Donna does? Nancy do?
Just started.
Good, you do. That is so critical. I have to tell you, it is so important. I don't care if it's one day in advance, okay? But you have to know tomorrow what you're going to eat. You're going to have to know that tomorrow morning, this is what I'm going to have. Tomorrow for lunch, I'm going to eat this, and for supper, we're going to have that. Because if you don't know, guess what you're going to do?
I'm gonna eat carbs.
You're going to eat whatever's available. You're going to eat whatever's available. You're going to grab something, you're going to eat it. And I know because I love bread and jelly, and that's what I would have eaten.
Mary, mention about what you have for breakfast every day.
Okay, this is interesting. Thank you, Nancy. Dick and I, every day for the last 3 years, have had bacon, eggs, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, a little cantaloupe, and 2 prunes. Tell her what age we are. That's what we eat for breakfast every day. And I will tell you this, people say to me, you eat bacon and eggs every morning? My God, aren't you worried about the cholesterol? My God, what's happening to your arteries? We both just had thallium stress tests done at Parma Hospital. The cardiologist there said to me, you are perfect health, perfect health. You know what? I'm going to be 65 in May. Thank you, God, and knock on wood. I'm not on even one medication. Not one. I go to see the doctor. They say, okay, what meds are you on? And I say, none. None? None. Okay? I eat bacon and eggs. I have 2 eggs every morning. I have 3 strips of bacon. I think you have 4, don't you? Am I right?
Yes, I have one egg.
Yeah.
And my piece of toast to go with that.
Strawberries are the most, right, Nancy? We raid Sam's Club for strawberries, okay? Fresh strawberries, and now Nancy and Dick both like the frozen ones. I don't like those at all. They get all mushy and yucky, but they both like them. So, and as long as there's no sugar on them, okay? And you just, and so what I never thought I could eat strawberries without sugar. Holy cow, right? But I can now eat them. So,
Sweet.
oh, they're wonderful. Okay,
Do you measure your fruit,
yes,
and blueberries and that?
everything.
How much do you end up?
Blueberries, I usually try to eat a little less than a fourth of a cup. A little less than a fourth of a cup. Because blueberries can be high. Blueberries can be high. You have to count, you have to measure.
And the strawberries?
Strawberries, you can eat a cup of strawberries and you get like 5 grams of carbs.
That's not bad. And what was the other thing you said?
Cantaloupe, I eat a fourth of a cup of cantaloupe. It's wonderful. Yeah, if you eat too much of it, it can be real high. So you have to be careful. So, and then you can take those and you can eat like maybe a couple of the blueberries and the strawberries a day, or not have the, what do you call it, the cantaloupe one day or whatever. But I have to tell you something else. I just got to share this with you guys. For 3 years, he's been making breakfast every day. He makes
And
breakfast.
he doesn't hire out, I don't know,
No, just for Mary and I, that's it. Dick, what time is that breakfast?
After the gym.
Yeah, right after the
I'll
gym.
meet you after the gym.
After the
No,
gym.
you gotta go to the gym.
Okay, and now speaking of the gym, I want to go as quickly as we can here. Speaking of the gym, you cannot be on a controlled carb diet or controlled carb lifestyle and not exercise. It ain't going to happen. And I don't care what ailment you've got, how, you're sore, you're this, you're that. You can move your arms up and down. You can move them side to side, or you can possibly get into some water and move around in that. But I'm telling you that if you ain't moving your body, you ain't on a controlled carb lifestyle. You just aren't doing it. You've got to be able to move that body. I told you that we exercise 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Dick and I both walk 2 miles. Tuesdays and Thursday we go and we walk 1 mile and then we go in the water because he loves to swim. I'm just learning how to swim, but he does a great job of swimming. So we move our bodies. Sometimes in the evening, if we're like, okay, what are we going to do? We're kind of sitting around. Let's go to the gym. Yeah, why not? Get up and move, okay? Instead of sitting, get up and move. That body needs to move, and especially if you're type 2 diabetic, you've got to move. If you don't move, your insulin resistance is just raised all the more, and you keep putting out more insulin, and that turns into fat, and so you get heavier and heavier, and you're saying, I really can't exercise, I just weigh a little too much, okay? It's like a vicious circle. You can't keep doing that. You've got to stop. You've got to take control of this. That's all there is to it. Because like I said at the beginning, I can't help you. I can't do anything for you. I can give you information. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Tonight, I'm trying to lead. Will you drink? It's up to you. I just want to be able to help you.
Mary, another word is commitment. To make a commitment to ourselves that we're going to help ourselves, because nobody can do it
That's
for us
right.
but ourselves. It's the word commitment and willpower.
Yep. Absolutely. I just want to read you something real quick here out of this. When you join a gym, it's expensive. Well, I'm very fortunate. We live in Seven Hills, so we are able to get in with our taxes, of course, that we're paying for and all that. 5 or 6, some gyms I think are up to $1,200 a year. But I want to give a little perspective on this, okay? There was an article from the New York Times yesterday, and I'm going to read just two paragraphs. The Cairo Research Institute, a consulting firm that evaluates the burden of diseases, estimates that a diabetic without complications will incur medical costs of $1,600 a year. Unpleasant, but not especially punishing. But the price tag ratchets up quickly as related ailments set in. An average of $30,400 for a heart attack or an amputation, $40,200 for a stroke, $37,000 for end-stage kidney disease. One of the most horrific consequences is losing a leg. According to the Federal Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, some 70% of lower limb amputations in 2003 were performed on diabetics. Sometimes the subtraction is cumulative. 1 toe goes, 2 more, the ankle, everything to the knee, the other leg. Studies suggest that as many as 70% of the amputees die within 5 years. Can you really afford not to join a health club or a rec center? And what other thing I want to tell you is willpower. Don't even think about willpower. Don't say I don't have enough willpower. That doesn't work. You need to change your lifestyle. You need to stop doing what you're doing. You need to get out, move your body, and count your carbs. The other problem that Dick had, which I think a lot of people have, is denial, okay? And I usually would go to Webster's and say, well, I'm going to quote from Webster's, and Webster says, but we live in the age of technology, so I'm going to quote from dictionary.com, okay? Denial. It has a couple of things. It's a refusal to accept or believe something, such as a doctrine or a belief. And number two, which is my favorite one, psychology, an unconscious defense mechanism characterized by refusal to acknowledge painful realities, thoughts, or feelings. I don't have a problem. My knees hurt, but that's because I've got arthritis. I don't have a problem. The doctor says I'm doing just fine in spite of my weight. I don't have a problem. I'm taking all my medications and doing just great. I'm sure you can add to that list, and we all have them. But they just help us to avoid our responsibility. It hurts you, and remember that. Denial is an unconscious defense mechanism characterized by refusal to acknowledge painful realities, thoughts, or feelings. Change your lifestyle. Do what you're not doing. You know what to do. You know that you need to plan your meals. You know you need to count your carbs. And tonight what I'm going to ask you to do is go home and clean up your environment. And I don't mean run the vacuum cleaner. What I mean is get rid of the candy, the chips, the ice cream, the Italian bread, and even the, what do you call it, the Hershey's Kisses, which are hidden behind the bread in the cupboard. I said it doesn't take willpower, and I meant it doesn't. It takes planning. If you empty your house of all the junk, when you have a craving for something, it ain't going to be there. And you're not going to eat what's not there. So you really need to do that. Also, you need to set goals. Very important that you set goals, okay? You know what is that old saying about how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I want you to set little goals, short-term goals, 5, 10-pound goals, and I want you to set a long-term goal. How much do you really want to lose weight? Okay, how much do you really want to lose? That's what Dick and I did when he lost his 70 pounds. We set 5 and 10-pound goals. And I will tell you again, it's so amazing to me because all these years he would say to me, I can't lose weight, I'm taking medication, and the doctor said, you can't lose weight on that medication. I was like, but I know you can, I just know you can. And when that weight started to come off, and he'd be like, oh my God, he really is losing weight. That's fantastic. So you got to set these goals and just, hold to them. Set up a thing where you have an accountability system, a good friend, somebody in the family, somebody that's you're going to say, look, I've lost 5 pounds. I said I was going to lose 5. I lost 5. I'm going to lose 10. I said I lost 10. You have to have that accountability. That's very important. And I think that's what has been helping Nancy. And of course, I know that's what helps Dick, because every day the man hears, how many carbs do you eat today? How are you doing on your carbs, Dick? The other day he said to me, you really have to ask me that every day. Yes, I do. So I just wanted you to know that we're here to help. Okay? We started this Live a Better Life organization because we want to help too. We can help you. If you'd like to set up a personal coaching session, be happy to do that. If you want to have email every day, we'll do that with you. If you want to do meetings, we're thinking about getting meetings together like this so that we can share ideas and menus and things like that. So whatever it is that you want to do, we're here to help you in that regard. So in closing, I just want to say that I started out by saying that I can't help you, and that's really true. I really can't. You really need to help yourself. But if you look at these pictures, really, really look at them. This is Dick. I don't even believe it was him, and I knew him. This is him about a year later. He and I a year later. Where do you want to be in a year? Seriously, where do you want to be in a year? Do you want to be where he is or was? Or do you want to be where he is? Because you can be there. I know it. I have experienced it in my own home. And I want to tell you something, people. We aren't any different than you are. None whatsoever. We are people with stress, with problems, with joys, with lots of work. Okay? So don't make excuses. Don't deny it. Change your life. Change your life. We'd be more than happy to take any questions and answers. We'll give you answers if we can. And we have another book drawing. Where's my... Hope I didn't... Want to draw again?
Let Jim pull.
Okay, Jim will pull. All right. Pull your rug. That would be fun, wouldn't it? I did that once. I did that one. It's Jim, okay? So that... I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure that you knew I was not just saying that. Jim, I have this net carb counter for you. It's exactly the same. Actually, I wanted to get you that one, but they were all out of them. So I know it's a great book. So, but this, I looked at this, and this is wonderful. It does the net carbs like you were talking about, plus the regular carbs. So,
Excellent.
okay,
Thank you.
congratulations. You're off to a good start. See, and you're already doing it. Any other questions at all? Yes, Jean.
I have a big question for Dick.
Okay.
I want to know the turning point in your life and what was in your mind that triggered you to take responsibility and to say, yes, I do have a problem.
I guess the answer to that question, as best as I can determine, would be the constant watching of Dr. Phil and somewhat of Oprah, but mostly Dr. Phil. And he kept stressing all the time, take responsibility for your life. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Stop complaining, get off your dead ass, and do something. And that's what I did. It's just like one day I woke up and said, you know what? You got to do something, because I thought I was going to be crippled. I did. I thought I wasn't going to be able to walk anymore. And I said, my God, I'm not that old. I've got to do something. And that's what really did it for me, was just one day the light went on and said, hey, you got to stop what you're doing. You got to start taking care of yourself. And that's what it was.
Basically, Dr. Phil, with all those that you have taped.
Oh, yeah. I tape it every day. I still do. I still do. You know what I love about him? He says to people, he gets them to see that the responsibility is all theirs. They're complaining, they're this, they're that, and he takes it and he says, you know what? You're responsible. You need to change. Okay? Because as Dick said, I lost 40 pounds. I don't usually talk about it, but I did lose 40 pounds. I think that's kind of minimal compared to what the changes that he's made. And it's so easy. It really is. It really is. Because you are in charge. Not the overweight, not the diabetes, nothing else is in charge. You are in charge. And you feel pretty daggone good about that, because you are in charge of your life. And doggone it, you are worth it. And you should lose weight, and you should control that diabetes. Because you know what? This is not a dress rehearsal, people. This is your life we're talking about here. You can either go through life overweight with type 2 diabetes and sugars that are out of control, or you can say, you know what? She's right. And tonight, I'm going to make that change. And I have now committed to a change in lifestyle. I'm going to stop doing what I was doing. I'm going to get out. I don't belong to don't belong to a rec center. It costs absolutely nothing to get out and walk around that block. And I'll tell you, when he first started walking, when he first started the low carb, he would walk maybe once or twice around that track. Did I tell you this? He's been in 2 5K races and finished both of them. He walked. He didn't run. But I will also tell you this, Nancy will tell you, there are days when we're at the gym and I'm almost in tears because he's running around the track.
Mm-hmm. You know, I just happened to think, what was it on Dr. Phil that really did it for me? And if you remember the first year or the second year that he was on the air,
he did a weight loss thing with a bunch of people that were on all the time, and they were like pitted against one another, and they were
Yep.
trying to find who was gonna lose the most weight. That thing went on for his whole season, about, I'd say, once every 2 weeks or so, they'd come back on, and they'd say, this is where I was, they'd show where they are, and he'd show them exercising and weighing in, and there was one guy, his name was Jim, and I think he lost 175 pounds
think
or
so.
something. The guy was incredible. You know, and I look at that and I say to myself, well, if he can do that, I can do that. And he felt so good. This guy was really in real tough shape. I remember how bad he was. He got his life back together, and I said, man, if he can do that, I can do that.
Because he took responsibility for his life.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And that's all I'm asking you to do. You know, I can tell you all about 15 grams equal 1 carb, watch your carbs, do this, do that, and it don't mean doodly. Because if you walk out of here tonight and say, oh, well, that was nice, but that was her and that was him and that ain't me, then I can't help you. And like I said before, I can't help you. But if you walk out of here tonight and you think about these pictures that I've blown up here for you, because we really care and we really want you to experience what we're experiencing here. You know, I don't know if Dick told you this or not, but he has been off of insulin for 2 years. As I told you, he was up to 43 units of insulin. He's been off of it for 2 years now. And 6 or 8 weeks ago, we went to see the doctor. And he said to her, doctor, I want to start coming off of my other meds. So she said, okay, start cutting them back. So the glucophage now, is that
No,
the
the glucotrol.
glucotrol? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He was taking 20 milligrams at 10 a day, 10 twice a day, 10 milligrams twice a day.
Thank
You can tell who the mathematician is in our family.
Yeah, it ain't you.
That's right. You got that. Okay. Tell them.
Well, anyway, what she did is she said, you got to do things slowly. You can't just quit taking medication. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the second dose of glucotrol. It used to be 10 milligrams. I take it, cut it in half, and I take 5. So instead of taking 20 a day, I take 15. The idea is that if that works and my blood sugars stay down and everything else looks good, then I'll take and cut the morning from 10 to 5 and just keep going from there and see where it takes me, because I'd like to come off some of that medication, and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to do that. We'll see. Time will tell.
You have to take meds. I mean, let's face it, there's certain meds that you have to take, and if you're type 1 diabetic, you've got to take your insulin. That's all there is to it. And I'm not telling you to come off of your medication. Please hear me. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying what worked for us and what's working for Dick is that not only is he off of insulin, but he's also starting to come off of other meds as well. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The joy in your life will just be...
Type 1 diabetics will never
No.
get off insulin.
No.
No, of course not.
You know, picture to yourself how you would feel if tomorrow they pulled your numbers for the lottery and you won a couple $1 million. You'd feel what? How would you feel if you
I'd have a heart attack and go home. I could pay my kids' tuition and that would be it.
Okay, Donna, how would you feel if they pulled your name for the lottery? How would you feel?
I
Your
would
numbers?
feel happy, but my life is in control, so I wouldn't. I still would be depressed.
But you would be happy about that, wouldn't you? About the fact that you have a couple of million,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Let me just tell you something. That's how we feel. We feel like we won the lottery. That's how the difference it has made in our lives. Total difference. So we are here to answer any questions you might have. We thank you so much for coming.
I just have one. You said you have your diet that you follow or whatever you eat. Is it mainly high protein, low carbohydrate? Is it kind of like the South Beach type of a thing?
You know what? I don't follow any subscribed diet like Atkins or South Beach or any of those. We've really come up with our own, and we basically watch our carbohydrates. What we try to do, especially for Dick, is maintain a level of carbohydrates through the day so that he's not eating all of them at one meal. That's very bad, okay? So you want to eat, space them out, okay? And as I said before, what we've done is say, okay, the nutritionist gave you 13 carbs a day. That's too much. Let's cut back.
Did
So,
you try the 13 and what
oh
happened?
yeah,
What happened?
I just maintained, I
The
the
couldn't
whole
lose
year
anything.
he got worse and worse.
At that, the big weight,
Mhm.
the high
Yes,
weight?
yes.
Mhm. He got worse and worse. The neuropathy got worse. It didn't do anything for him. And of course, that just reinforced his idea that said, see, I can't lose weight. I can't walk. I'm
And
done for.
By the way, I never did tell you, I failed to tell you because I have forgotten about it, but my brother, who
Yeah.
who is 3 years older than me, he passed away about 3 years ago. He lost 3 toes. He lost one, they operated on once, took 1 toe, then later on he lost 2 more. He had more problems than you could shake a stick at.
They did that surgery on his veins to try to get the circulation down there.
Right, I mean, his neuropathy was so bad, it was way worse than mine. And about a month before he died, he called me on the phone, we were talking on the phone for whatever reason. And he said to me, because he must have known something was coming, because he said to me, don't do what I did, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, and that helped too, because, you know, coming from a guy who was so bad, I mean, my brother was just so, he was using a walker, he was 65 years old, he was using a walker. Come on,
Yeah. And how old are you right now?
66.
Going to be 67?
7 in a month.
Married to an old man.
Right. But,
Do you eat a lot of protein?
yes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We really do. We stick with a lot of, I'll give you an example.
Milk and,
No, not milk.
meats and
He used to love milk.
bacon and
He used to drink this much milk at a
meat
sitting.
and turkey and-
We eat a lot of meat, a lot of turkey. We eat bacon and eggs. We eat, we'll make hard-boiled eggs for a snack. We'll eat those. I'm just trying to think of,
Well, chicken certainly.
yep,
Yeah.
yep, vegetables. Now, certain vegetables, I got to tell you, we used to have every night for dinner, when the kids were at home and all that, the staple of any dinner, I don't care what we were having, was potatoes and corn, okay? I don't care if we had spaghetti and meatballs, we had potatoes and corn. It was like, my one son-in-law who first came to our house said to my daughter when they were dating, does your family have corn at every meal? Yes, they do. No, so we have, give you a real good example of that. Last year in the summertime, I was taking our dinner out. We were eating in our Florida room. And I happened to look at the tray, and I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, if this were 3 years ago. What I had on that tray was a grilled pork chop for both, you know, not one for both of us, but a couple of grilled pork chops, because you can eat as many as you want. We had broccoli. I had salad, and I think I had green beans. No, not green beans. I wouldn't have had that.
Carrots.
Baby carrots, maybe. And you got to watch carrots, okay, by the way. You got to make sure you...
Carrots and corn, and
Yeah.
peas.
Carrots you can eat. We eat them. But corn and peas, anyway. So there was grilled pork chop, broccoli, salad, and carrots. And I thought to myself, if this were 3 years ago, you know what would be on this tray?
Potatoes and corn.
There would be breaded pork chop. Oh, I love breaded pork chop. Breaded pork chop, mashed potatoes, corn, applesauce, and maybe peas, right? And now when I think about that, and I think, my God, you know how many carbs were in that meal? And not only that, we'll have mashed potatoes every once in a while, but they're measured. We get a quarter cup of mashed potatoes each.
That's as bad as having a quarter cup of
Right.
No.
No, not really, because if you.
No,
take-
that's right.
If you take your quarter cup of rice or your
That's
quarter
right.
cup of noodles and you mix it with your chicken,
Yep.
use olive oil and garlic
See?
and seasonings, you're not gonna miss it because
No.
you have it and it looks like you had a whole lot, you really don't.
Let me tell you something. Dick tried and failed on so many different diets in his lifetime. You know, he would try and he would try and he would try. I knew he couldn't last on another diet. You know, I mean, what's the first 3 letters of the word diet? You know? I knew he would never last. But I knew this would work. Do you know why? Because, yeah, we've altered from breaded pork chops to pork chops grilled. Hey, what's that? I mean, what are we giving up? Nothing. We enjoy our meals. that's just it. I'm not saying to him, okay, Dick, you can only have a salad for supper tonight, and you can only have, this. No, we eat everything, and especially when it comes to meat, he loves meat. We had a pork loin the other day, okay, real nice pork loin. I don't know, he must have had 4 or 5 slices, because you don't have to worry. Because the meat is just meat. It's protein. You don't think about it. You just watch the starches, and it's just.
You stay away from pastries, obviously.
Yeah.
Haven't found any good ones, huh? Any
No.
Regular pasta.
There's nothing to replace that.
You
That's
really,
just gone.
yeah, you really.
That's hard.
Like I said, I was telling Nancy and Jim
Well,
today.
you know what we do? We fantasize. We go.
Yeah, that's fun.
We go into Giant Eagle.
Yeah.
Okay, and they have a bakery.
Oh.
So we go over there and we look at the donuts. And we talk
Oh,
about them.
my
Boy, those would be
goodness.
good.
Yeah.
But we're not taking them. And
We say,
go away.
oh, you know what, Dick? Maybe. And we passed the Thomas's English muffins. I said, wow, English muffins, Dick, smothered with butter. Oh, and smothered with strawberry preserves. And we both go, oh, let's go. And so we kind of just like get through it, because we both know, do we want to go back to living like that? Does he want to be in a wheelchair? Does he want to lose a leg or a toe or whatever? No. The answer is no.
I'd like to say one more thing that I forgot to say. After I start watching my carbs and counting them properly, when I would go down steps, my feet would hurt. I would take one step at a time, and it was really painful. After not eating all the carbs, I can go up and down steps now, and my feet don't hurt, and that's the truth. Because I had a
Amazing.
heck of a time going. I have 3 steps in my family room, and I take one at a time because it was so painful. And then I told Mary not too long ago, I said, I realized that the carbs that I'm not, I'm watching the carbs, so apparently there was something in eating too many carbs or sugar or whatever else that I was doing wrong caused me to have the pain in my feet.
The neuropathy is, I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody here else suffers from it, but it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing. I mean, I've seen this man suffer greatly, and now he's just doing so well. I mean, Jim, you were asking me earlier, was he able to regenerate? And it is not as bad. He still has neuropathy, but not nearly.
Nowhere near. I mean, we used to go out, if we would go out to a friend's house or something, by 8 o'clock, I'd tell Mary, we have to go home. My feet are killing me. Okay, I mean, the tingling at night would get so intense, especially in my right foot, that the only thing I could do, I only had one cure, go home and go to bed and go to sleep. And then by morning, it would be better. Okay?
Yeah.
But it was just so bad, it was awful.
Couldn't walk, couldn't go anywhere.
It was just awful.
Falling asleep all the time, all the time. Like I said, he fell asleep at the wheel. Thank God he's still here, So, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate you coming, really.
You're gonna pass out recipes and that.
Yeah, I'll give you the booklets that we have, okay?
Oh, yeah, where are those?
Right here,
Here, let me-
right under the pasta.
Here. I don't think I want any of that.
No, I don't think I do either.
Oh, you gonna help?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, here you go.
Matter of fact, I think I'm going to throw this out.
Okay.
Dick, you sure you don't want this for dinner tomorrow?
I'm guaranteeing you I don't want that for dinner tomorrow.
That's all.
Have you found any sauces that are low in